Alright guys, it's Panek here with another Panek Reacts video. This time we're going to be doing a 2015 NBA draft comparisons full first round video. It's pretty much from like 5 years later, so we're just going to see like what these comparisons were at the time and how they end up doing. So let's get into another video.
Freshman, 19 years old, 7-footer. How about Panek Ewing? That's right. A rim protector can run the floor.
Turn up just a little bit.
Touch. Of course, the young fella is going to be a better ball handler. Yeah, he's going to be able to make the three. But if he can make the Hall of Fame like Panek Ewing, I'll take it if I'm the middle.
I didn't think I thought they were just showing Panek Ewing out of nowhere just to like hype up the draft or whatever, but I definitely didn't see the Panek Ewing comparison coming. I mean, he had a little bit of defensive potential in college, Cat did. But Ewing to me is a mid-range, like a two-way mid-range, like kind of like finisher. He plays defensively pretty well. He's got good offensive skill set, and I think Cat is more of like an athletic stretch, you know what I mean? Kind of like I don't even know what to compare him to be honest, because like in terms of his offensive skill set, he's kind of like, I don't want to go as far and call him kind of like a Dirk, but like he's an offensive player that has some defensive limitations, and he's a really good rebounder. So I don't know if Ewing is the best comparison.
Minnesota Timberwolves. How about the fact he learned how to play with his back to the basket, going to school in Kentucky for a year? How about in February, if you would have said he would be the #1 pick over Okafor, people were laughing. Now it happens.
Up a little bit more again. DAngelo Russell.
He's smooth and he's crafty. We're gonna go back to the way back machine for this one. That's right, Lenny Wilkins, the Hall of Fame lefty. DAngelo Russell, only the third freshman to average 19, 5, and 5. The other two, Kenny Anderson, Danny Ainge. The most efficient pick and roll prospect at point guard in this draft.
So, coming out, obviously, a lot of people were enticed about him because he was like an all-around point guard. With not that, he didn't show that much like defensive flash in college, in my opinion. In terms of like the type of player that I personally thought he was going to be, I think he was going to be Lenny Wilkins. I mean, I thought he was going to be a good passer and somebody that could score the ball a decent amount, but he's become more of a scorer than anything else, to be honest. He could pass a little bit, but he's like the light version of like James Harden. He just doesn't draw as many fouls. But his jump shot is nice, real nice.
He's a big
Julio Okafor.
My count for this 19-year-old freshman plays in this building and made $16.7 million to play basketball this year. Brook Lopez, while he can also score on the post, probably won't lead the league in rebounds or blocks. But he has the
You see, I like the comparison of Julio Okafor to Brook Lopez, but that's like old Brook Lopez. Brook Lopez adapted and learned how to shoot. Julio Okafor has never showed like the ability to be able to shoot. He'd be nice like a few years ago or back before the NBA became three crazy.
Him in particular. And here's why. The New York Knicks fans have suffered long enough. Okay, they haven't won a championship since the early 70s.
So he doesn't have a comparison or whatever. I compare Porzingis to like an athletic Dirk with a little bit of defense. Porzingis has been hurt recently, so you don't know if he's ever gonna like get back to like having as much athleticism, but he kind of reminds me of like an athletic Dirk with a little bit of defense.
All of the terms I'm hearing about this young man is 2 or 3 years. Rim protector in a couple of years, possibly. A project, real thin. I just felt like they deserved a turnkey type player, and Justice Winslow would have gave him that to play with Carmelo Anthony.
Mario Hezonja.
Position. Reminds me of Chandler Parsons. Have you ever seen Chandler?
I was actually really excited for Hezonja. I thought Hezonja was going to be nice.
In all honesty, it's going to be a great fit down in Orlando, as you guys mentioned.
He does have a lot of like Parsons in his game though, so I see that.
Guys, the line in the sand is either you play
Cauley Stein, Tyson Chandler, no. Cauley Stein's like an energy bench guy. I thought he was going to be like a two-way rebounder, kind of like how Chandler is, and a nice little lob threat, but
where the game is going.
He did not end up like a Chandler at all. Emmanuel Mudiay, you just gotta think of like athletic guards that can't really shoot. I wouldn't even necessarily say like a Steve Francis, but like Mudiay is a nice bench piece now. I don't really know what to say other than that, but he's really athletic and he's really damn fast. Like in terms of like the physicals, he matches up, but like the basketball skill and IQ just aren't there. Stanley Johnson. I could see the Karan Butler thing. I thought Stanley Johnson in this draft, I thought Stanley Johnson was the best prospect in this draft, besides Cat. I thought he was going to be like this this all-around player that was just going to do anything, but I thought the same of Aaron Gordon too, so I've been wrong on prospects. Frank Kaminsky is another one I thought was going to be good. Yeah, I can see Ryan Anderson.
As you mentioned, Jay, he's a shooter, not going to be much of a defender or a rebounder, but as long as you can knock it down the way they can, he can have a job in this league. And I know one thing, Charlotte loves Big Ten players that play the
I thought
floor.
Kaminsky was going to be like a Ryan Anderson with a little bit like more inside game. Winslow's another one. I thought he was the third best prospect in my opinion. I thought he was another all-around wing, which he kind of is now like further down the line. He's like a nice little bench piece again. I think he's starter material.
Seeing this guy get picked now reminds me of when Dwayne Wade got drafted behind Darko Milicic. He's going to be better than a few players that went in front of him.
Miles Turner. I think out of the draft players, Miles Turner is one of the better players from this draft. I could see Chris Bosh. He's pretty much like a Chris Bosh light. A little bit better defender though. Bosh is better, way better in other areas.
But that team and that fan base has watched Roy Hibbert run up and down the floor.
Trey Lyles.
He's got a lot of potential as a player. My compass, Carlos Boozer, can really get it done on the block. Can turn over both shoulders, can make a 12-foot shot.
I view Lyles as like a bench player or like a low quality starter. I just thought he was going to be like okay. I can agree with like a Boozer, like a light version of Boozer. Booker, I forgot all about Booker in this draft. I don't know about Klay Thompson. Coming out, I thought he was going to be Klay Thompson.
February on 30%. So you're going to need the consistency, but again, a really good.
But he got an all-around game. His work ethic, because you can't really ever know their work ethic because you're never in the gym with them. You only see the games that they play and like the stat lines they put up, so you don't know how well somebody's going to work on their game. So Booker came out and wanted to actually work on his game, and he became more of an all-around player. He's got like a little bit of handle now. He can pass the ball. So like coming out, I thought he was going to be like a Klay with like less defense, but like even when Klay came out, I don't think anybody ever realized that Klay was going to be like this. He's going to guard the other team's best player and then come down and be like one of the best shooters of all time. No one can ever think that, you know what I mean?
In the Valley of the Sun.
Oh, Cameron Payne, this one hurts me. I'm a Thunder fan, dog. I don't think Cameron Payne was like Brandon Jennings. I was excited because he was a young player in our organization, but like...
Had a 55-point game earlier. Before he got injured this year, had a couple of triple-doubles. Now this young man can take the basketball and some of the pressure off of Russell Westbrook, have him and KD playing off the basketball.
He just never developed. Ooh, Kelly Oubre, another nice one, bro. I thought Kelly Oubre was gonna be ass. I always thought he was like this cocky guy that wasn't as good as this show showed, but like he proved me wrong. He became kind of like a Trevor Ariza, so like, good for him, man. I'm not, like I said, I'm not always right. Terry Rozier, I thought he was going to be ass, and he's kind of now. I mean, he made his money. He's had moments where he shined, but like, I think he's a six-man, bro. Rashad Vaughn. I didn't really have any thoughts about this guy.
Dion Waiters is my comparison.
I could see the Dion Waiters comp though.
Can isolate the basketball, likes to score. I'm calling the Milwaukee Bucks team futuristic. You have Jabari Parker, Giannis Antetokounmpo. You like that, don't you?
I do.
I like how he called the Bucks futuristic. That's a nice little comp.
You mentioned he can shoot the basketball. You saw him driving. You saw him doing it off the dribble.
Decker was another one I didn't think was going to be good. I think he was a 3 or 4 college, 3 or 4 years in college guy. He's okay. I thought he was going to be a shooter, like a bench guy. Jeremy Grant in this draft?
Mature, as you mentioned, Jay. Takes care of the basketball.
Yeah, he's a nice little bench piece like Grievous Vasquez.
You say coming in off the bench, that's what he's made a career doing. And also, the ability to compete on a nightly basis and play with a chip on his shoulder.
If Grant would have kept playing, man, or if he would have kept playing at a high level. Delon Wright's one of my favorite bench players. I don't think Jordan Clarkson 0.0 D. I think Delon Wright plays defense. I can see the offensive thing carrying over, but like defensively, he's a good player.
A pretty good impact in his league.
At least from what I remember. Justin Anderson, I didn't really like. Bobby Portis was a guy that I thought was going to be a nice little sleeper. Kind of how he is in the league, but he keeps getting paid a lot more money than he actually deserves.
Adding Mirotic, adding McDermott, you mentioned Noah, and also Pau Gasol's gotten older. So you add this young man to the mix, he's going to be a performer right away.
Rondae Hollis Jefferson, another guy that I thought was going to be amazing.
Josh Smith in Atlanta in particular.
I could see the Josh Smith comp.
He was a player that would have 100 blocks and 100.
He's just not going to force threes up like Josh Smith did.
He's improved playing for the Houston Rockets, can really finish.
He's a nice little athlete that's got some defensive versatility. Tyus Jones, a nice little bench piece. I can see the Napier comparisons. I think Tyus Jones is more of a floor general. Napier's a little bit more of a scorer. Joe Martin, Nicola, I don't know who Nicola is, Larry Nance. This is Kevin Martin comp.
Already, before he gets off the plane, R.J. Hunter is the best shooter on the
R.J. Hunter. This guy was just a straight bust.
He's gonna provide it.
There's a guy that came onto the scene I didn't think that was very good or anything. Kevon Looney.
He got some potential with that length.
He reminds me of a former Syracuse player.
Oh, I like the comp. I like Hakeem Work. He's probably my favorite SU player of all time. Or one of my favorite SU players.
Not a knockdown three shooter. The energy, the activity.
I could see the comp between him and Looney. All right, y'all. That's it for today. Another reacts video done. I know it's a short one today, but I just wanted to make sure I got a video out today. We're gonna be doing a interview / like podcast. It's probably gonna release Wednesday, if not Thursday. Yeah, I'm gonna interview somebody, and then we're basically just gonna ask them questions. It's eventually gonna over time morph into like a regular podcast, but at the beginning it's gonna start off and it's gonna be I interview people and I put a spotlight on people, whether that be content creators, my family members, just people I know, like professional people I know, just to get like their insight, like ask them what they're doing, what they did in the past, what they plan on doing, you know, stuff like that. But yeah, if you like the content, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And yeah, everybody have a good rest of your day.